Hey friends, happy Friday! Welcome to Wild Birds Unlimited in Joliet. On Fridays, we go live to tell you what's new, what's happening at the store, but what else is happening in nature. So tonight we're talking about a couple things. I want to give you a couple tips on winter bird feeding, especially since we've gotten more of that white stuff. So I definitely want to give you those tips to keep your bird feeding action still ramping up and still good and keeping your food dry and all of that. So we will definitely share that information here tonight. We're also going to talk a little bit on starlings because I know some of you are seeing starlings back at the feeders, and we have tips to help you guys out with that. So I want to hit on that tonight too. But before we get started, I do want to talk about our events because we have events coming up. This weekend we do not have anything happening, but if you are available, please go over and help the group out at Pilcher Park Nature Center. They're doing a cleanup day. I think there's a place to register, but you can, I'm sure, if you reach out to them tonight, you can get in on that action for tomorrow. But we do not have anything happening per se at the store other than all the goodies that we normally have here for all your help. If you need us, we're here for you. But the following weekend, which is the 24th, we have another exhilarating program here at the store, presentation. And we're going to be presenting on 7 simple steps to help your songbirds out. And this is just for everyone. Everyone can do these 7 simple steps, and we're going to go into more detail. It will be an interactive presentation, so it's definitely going to be a worthwhile one. I highly, highly recommend that you come and check it out. As always, we recommend that you call the store to reserve your seat just so that you have the best spot. We sometimes do not have always enough seats, but hopefully we will be able to accommodate everyone. Even if I have to take the office chairs out, I will. But as many, if you call the store, at least we'll reserve a seat for you instead of just walking kind of into it, all right? And then the last thing, the last weekend, Saturday is the 31st, and that is a free pine cone bird feeder craft that we're happening right here in the store. It's free for adults and kids. We just ask that you call the store to reserve a spot just so I have an idea of how many participants are going to be coming. The event takes place from 1 to 3. You can stop in anytime to take advantage of that activity, all right? Just be mindful that we do use products that have peanuts or tree nuts in them, so be sure that you don't have any allergies. And we ask that if you have any kids coming, that they are accompanied with a parent or a guardian of some kind, right? All right, but that's what we have going on here at the store. I do have some new items I want to show you, but before I talk about that, I want to talk about 2 things that are really, really cool that are happening. Oh, I forgot to also mention, we have our last and final avian artistry class. It is Friday the 23rd. That is the Friday before the 7 Simple Steps presentation. We're doing acrylics. It's going to be at Dottie's Art Studio. It's going to be a great time, and you'll leave with a masterpiece you can take home. So it's $30 for the class. You can sign up by going online. It's on our website or our Facebook. There's a link. You can sign up there. Or if you're in the store, you can just scan this QR code and it'll take you right to the registration. All right? So we hope to see you there. Last one. It's such a good time. I cannot wait. We'll have to do something else with Dottie in the future. All right. Let's get back to it. There are 2 things I really want to talk about in the way of expanding your bird feeding knowledge, and these are 2 free activity. Well, one is a free series that is being launched. It's a video series through Cornell that WBU is sponsoring. It's called Backyard Bird Revealed. I'm sorry that it's not flipped for you today. My computer ran out of battery, and I don't have my charger with me today, so we're doing the phone. So I wasn't thinking right, and I did not flip the phone in time. But Backyard Birds Revealed is a great video. It's a free video series. There are 5 videos in total, and they kind of give you an in-depth, behind-the-scenes look at birds through, super awesome photography and videography. And there are a couple different topics that they cover. The first one is birds in slow motion landing. It is awesome. If you haven't seen it already, it is truly amazing. I think I've only watched, the first 2, but there are 5 in total. The second one talks about how birds stay warm in winter snow. The third one talks about bird behaviors at the feeder. And the fourth one talks about exploring woodpecker holes and why they are in such high demand. And the fifth and final one are 2 ways to climb trees. And it's going to be really cute. I can really tell already just on some of the photos that they have taken of the videos. But they're short and sweet, and you can watch them in a very short amount of time. And again, they're free. They're all on YouTube. If you type in Backyard Birds Revealed, I'm sure they'll take you to Cornell or to Wild Birds Unlimited. It will direct you right to where you can find the videos online. In the store, we have these little handouts that give you a QR code to at least bring you to the first episode. From there, you can find the rest of them. So great stuff. Now, also want to talk about another activity that's happening. It is not free, but it's a great way for you to observe your birds right in your own backyard. And that is, got it. It is Project Feeder Watch. Now, we've talked about Project Feeder Watch, and you know that this is the all winter long study of birds. It goes from November through April. So if you haven't signed up already, don't worry, there's time still. You can still sign up. But I just wanted to show you because all of my information has just come back, and you know how much I love my posters, and I want to show you some of these free tools that they give you when you sign up. They give me this nice poster. If you've been to any of my talks, you know I like to bring this one along with me oftentimes, and so I'm really glad to get a brand new one because my other ones were kind of looking shabby. So really excited to get a new one. But this time around too, they gave me this awesome other poster that I absolutely love because sparrows can be so tricky sometimes. And I always tell everyone, give your sparrow flock a second look over because you never know who you're going to spot. And that's exactly kind of what this one's talking about, is there are just a bunch of wintering sparrows. So this one is all about sparrows. So kind of a cool ID poster, but when you sign up, you do get free materials for joining. They give you tools to track and learn about the birds on their website or the mobile app. You get a year-end summary of winter bird highlights. That get a poster. You can get their calendar, and of course, you can get digital access to Cornell Labs Living Bird magazine. So really great thing when you participate. It's really inexpensive to join. There is a little bit of a fee. It's under $20 though, and you know all of those funds, those fees, go to helping Cornell Lab of Ornithology. So if you didn't know, they are a great resource for all of us. They are so awesome. And if you ever used Merlin ID, which is a free app, you know that those fees, participation fees, are going towards supporting Cornell, which is a nonprofit organization. So they totally rely on participation fees and donations. So you do nothing else, the participation fee is going to help out Cornell, which is a huge study that studies all of our birds, and I get a lot of my information on birds right from Cornell. Oh, great. Yeah, Mara has been doing Project Feeder Watch. First time this winter. Yes, love the posters that they give us. And I know we've talked about Project Feeder Watch and the benefits of Project Feeder Watch before, but I just want to highlight that what makes Project Feeder Watch so different over all the other monitoring programs that they have out there is that because we get such a detailed picture from the data that Project Feeder Watch gains from your individual entries, they are able to tell where birds are as well as where they are not. So it really gives crucial information to help scientists piece together kind of a really good, accurate portrayal of where populations are. for wintering species. So if birds are starting to kind of hit different ranges than they normally would, we would never know. But thanks to you and all your scientific studies that you are helping real scientists by doing this study, we are able to learn so much more about birds. So I just wanted to mention that Project Feeder Watch is still going on. There is still time to join, and you can join today. Okay, just go on, if you go online and search projectfeederwatch.org, it'll take you right to Cornell, where they'll give you all the information on how to sign up and how to get started. All right, let's get to it. Let's talk about some new things that have come in, because I'm so excited and I cannot wait any second longer to show you some of the new things that we have gotten in today. And then I'll give you a couple tips for winter feeding, and then we're going to go right into starling help, because I know some of you are dealing with that. Okay, let's show ya a couple new things that have come in. First off, we're starting to get spring trickling in, and new spring is always so much fun. But the one I want to show you tonight is specifically some new gazing globes that have come in. They are just so beautiful, and I kind of wanted to show them off, all right? But let's go to it first. I want to show you this one. This one is a red one, and this blue line actually has kind of a glow-in-the-dark decal in it, so when it is dark at night, it actually glows. It's so beautiful. I saw it online. It looks so good, guys. So I'm excited to kind of charge it up tonight and see how it looks tomorrow. But so cool. Red base, if you can't tell from the lighting a little bit, but it is kind of like a maroon-ish red color base with that swirl of the glow-in-the-dark in it. This one is also super cool. It is not glow in the dark, but nonetheless, it is absolutely stunning. And I don't even know if the video does its justice, because it is so iridescent. It is absolutely stunning. It's kind of light purples and violets with a little bit of green and yellow in it. It's absolutely beautiful, guys. It's beautiful. You got to come in and see it for yourself, because I don't think the video is quite doing it what I'm seeing in person. These next two are some of those mosaic ones. This one is absolutely beautiful as well. Lots of turquoises and blues and a little bit of the silvers going on. Again, it's just so much more pretty in person. I think the video isn't quite doing its justice, but the light hits it and it's absolutely stunning. And then our last one that I want to show you of these gazing globes is this other kind of red maroon one, but it's really iridescent. I mean, honestly, again, I'm trying to get all the colors going for you, but it is just stunning. We have quite a few different stands. We have short ones, we have tall ones, we have ones that are staked. So if you are itching for spring, come by the store, because I know I am too, and it's going to be around the corner any second now. I know we just got snow again this morning, but it will be here before we know it. So be sure you come in and grab some of the new spring things before they fly out, all right? And then the last new thing that we have gotten in today, kind of by mistake, if you will, is we have a new seed cylinder. Hey Valerie, nice to see you guys. Thanks for joining us. So we kind of made an oops, and we accidentally ordered the wrong type of hot pepper seed cylinder. And it's not a horrible thing, because we've never had this one in before, but we're going to put it out on the floor. We're going to try it out and see how you guys like it, instead of just returning it back. But I think you guys are going to like it. If you've ever tried our small hot pepper cranberry cylinders, you are in for a wonderful surprise, because we now have large hot pepper cranberry. I know, we never used to have it, and they didn't have it for a long time, but they are now making a large hot pepper cranberry. So if you can see for difference how much larger the large is, it does require a certain type of feeder, so not all of our seed cylinder feeders are going to be able to hold the large, but it is a really great thing to be able to switch to a large when you need it. I like to use a lot of large pepper seed cylinders in the winter, so I'm not trekking all the way out to my backyard in the snow sometimes, or the wetness. and it lasts a lot longer than the small. So it's going to be here. It's for a limited time. We only have a couple cases of these, so we'll definitely see how they go. Please let us know if you like it, if you don't like it, what's your thoughts on it, because if you like it, and we can keep it and keep ordering it full time. But right now it's only available in store unless you call the store. We possibly can turn it on online. It's going to take a little work on our part to get it up online, but I'm just curious to see how you guys will like it. I think it'll be a really good one. I know I wasn't completely disappointed when we got them. I know that some people might be a little bit disappointed when we eventually do run out this week of another style, another flavor, if you will. But we have this as a recourse. It's only $1 more than the regular hot pepper large cylinders. So, but you get a really great blend. It has fruit in it. So what feeder goes with it? So if you have, let's take you on a little road trip here, if you will. Since I have you on my phone, it's a little bit easier. Let's go for a walk on my cylinder wall. Okay, so the question is, what type of feeders will large seed cylinders work in? Okay, so number one will be this large, tidy cylinder feeder. So this one could hold the smalls. If you have this copper one, this unfortunately will not hold the large, but it will hold the smalls, it will hold the stackables. If you are looking for a large, you're going to want to do the green one. The green one is much larger and it's able to hold that large seed cylinder. It has that nice tray on it as well, similar to your seed tidy, the copper one right here. Another one that would hold it is these types. These are one of our top selling seed cylinder feeders. I personally have this one. I actually have that copper tidy one as well. I do love this one because you can, again, hold the large to the small. It does have that nice perch on it. So even if you have the large, and I'm telling you, the large is going to go all the way up against this perch. But because it has these leaves and things on it, it's able to be still used as a perch. So your cardinals can still sit on it. Remember, cardinals aren't going to be able to cling to that feeder, that seed cylinder. They need a place to land. So something like this that will hold it. Also the Flying Bistro, which I'll show you that one too. That's this one. I'm going to show you it tonight when we talk about starlings. But this one can also hold a small or a large cylinder as well. All right? Hope that helps. But those are the 3 types of cylinder feeders that are going to be able to hold the large one as well as the small. Okay? Good question. I like that question. All right, let's get to it over here. Those are the 2 new things I wanted to talk about tonight. Let's talk real quick 3 feeding tips for winter, because a lot of you have been talking about wet weather, and I want to give some tips. And I know we talk a lot about winter bird feeding, such as using water in winter and the importance of water for birds, as well as they need a drink. It helps them digest their food, but also water helps insulate better than dirty feathers. So clean feathers are better than dirty feathers for flight and for insulation. So big part of helping birds during winter is providing water. Number 2 is cover. And this is a big one. This is a big topic here. I want to pull this back just a bit so that you can see kind of my backdrop here. Okay, I have a couple different ways that we can provide cover. So some ways are just easy cover domed weather guards, right? Something like a tray feeder like this with a dome kind of like this. 2 feeders with domes like this. All are going to protect the food from snow and rainy weather. Okay, how it works is, for example, get my hands a little bit more empty. So if it's snowing like it was this morning or overnight, what's going to happen is the snow is going to accumulate on top here. Okay, it's not going to accumulate over by the ports at all. Obviously, sometimes you get the wind and the wind effect, and the ports will become kind of clogged with the snow. All right, and we know with a weather guard, the chances of that happening are a lot less than, let's say, if it was just out there like this. All right, this feeder, if it was just like this, is going to be exposed to a lot more weather than if it had a weather guard. All right, so what happens when snow clogs up these ports? So one, it's harder for the birds to find the food. They can't just grab it and go like they normally would. So you might get a little bit less action if you don't have a weather guard. But number two, and I think most important with using a weather guard, is it protects the food inside. So what happens if your port gets a lot of snow in it or wet weather is the food inside will get snowy too. And when it melts, it will become wet. And that seed can sometimes clump. It can also get kind of moldy and gross. So just for help for you, for maintenance reasons, I would recommend a dome on almost any feeder you have because it's really going to help protect your food, which is something that we want to do. It's, you know, we pay money for that food and we want to make sure that it goes to good use. So it's protecting your money. It's protecting the money that you've spent in the food. It's also going to keep the food fresh for your birds because we know, just like us, birds don't want to eat nasty, gross food. So if you keep it dry and fresh, your birds are going to be much, much happier with you. All right. And number three is the importance of making sure we're providing that high-fat foods. So whether that is peanuts, suet, or winter blend, suet or winter blend, super blend, seed blend, all those foods, the no mess, the kernel confetti that you're providing, those high-protein blends and high-fat blends are going to give your birds a huge help, okay? Because they are expending a ton of energy just staying alive during the day, foraging for food, and then overnight. Remember, Chicago experiences like 14.5 hours of darkness during winter. That's a long time for a bird that has to sustain themselves until we get daylight and they can forage again. So really your feeders are becoming a lifeline. So help them out, keep your feeders full, help them out. Okay, what you put in them is almost equally as important as providing it itself. Okay, so that is where our DSC promotion is coming in soon. And I'll talk about that in just a second because I forgot about this guy. And this guy is so cool. You probably have seen it outside at our feeder stations out here. It's one of my favorite feeders because it's a tray, and you know how much I love trays. It's the dinner table where everyone can have something. Yep, you can put a baffle underneath it so that the squirrels can't access it or the raccoons. But the nice thing about this one is that this is separate from the tray, the dome, the cover, right? So, and we can lower this. This is on a thumb screw, so the roof can be lowered if you need it to be lowered, or raised if you want it raised more. But it's a great way that there's lots of room. Everyone can find a seat at this dinner table, and plus the cover on it is going to keep it fresh and keep it not exposed to the winter weather. All right, so really, really recommend this feeder setup. It's one of my favorites and definitely love it. So besides winter blend, what is the next best winter seed? I would probably recommend any of our no mess blends because all of them have that high, and specifically no mess plus or any of our plus blends. So we have choice plus, we have no mess plus, and we have tree nutty plus. And all of those, why I think that they're one of the best blends, and cardinal confetti too, because they all have nuts. They all have high fat sunflower seeds. They also have other ingredients. Some of them have mealworms in them. Some of them have tree nuts in them. But all of plus blends include fruit, and they all include bark butter bits. So if you have, we have a variety of feeders that those would work in, but something with a variety of ingredients, but particularly something with bark butter bits are going to do a lot of justice because birds are needing a lot of fat. So high energy. Really, you can't go wrong with any seed blend that you put out there, but the more that you put in of peanuts and bark butter bits, you can probably make your own blend. I know some of you are pretty savvy and can do kind of that cool stuff. I love making charcuterie boards for my birds. And a tray feeder like that is great for it because you can put a great seed blend in, something that you probably use all the time. Put some bark butter bits in there. Put a little mealworms out there. You can make a variety just with the items that you probably already have at home. But that's a good question. I would recommend a plus blend or a no mess or a cardinal confetti just because of the amount of protein in it and fats. You could probably, I'm pretty sure online they list the ingredients and they might not list the percentages, but for example, I'm going to go grab you cardinal confetti, and on the back here, in the back, it talks about how much crude protein, how much crude fat, and how much crude fiber there is. And in winter, we're looking primarily at fat. Also protein, but mostly fat. And in cardinal confetti, it's 32% fat. That's pretty good. Let's look at winter blend for comparison. Winter blend, for comparison, 42% fat. All right, that's pretty good. Okay, so there's a good question. There's some good questions in here. The question at hand, besides the one I just answered from Valerie, is what bird is the shyest at our feeders in the winter? And what can we do to attract them over the hundreds of sparrows we get? Yeah, that is a really, really good question. It's a tough question because sparrows kind of can be bullies all on their own. Like we're going to talk about starlings here in a little bit. Starlings are just aggressive on their own. Just one is enough to kind of keep some birds away. But sparrows act in a different manner, right? They act as bullies in numbers. So it can be tricky. And there's not a lot of foods that they won't eat, like starlings that we're going to talk about. And there's not a lot of feeders that we can specifically deter them away from food. But what I like to do is use their likes against them. All right, so the how that works is sparrows specifically love white millet. So if you get a blend that's high in millet, such as maybe our deluxe blend or select blend, or we even offer just straight white millet. And if you have a feeder like this is a perfect feeder for this scenario, as I put my millet in here. And I take this feeder because I know that this feeder has a high lip on it. So I can put a whole cup of millet in here, or a whole cup of some type of seed blend that's high in millet. And I will move this feeder far away from my other feeders in the corner of my yard. And what that does is it draws the sparrow flock, because this is their favorite. Remember, this is their favorite. And they'll draw the sparrows to this feeder, and it'll give the other feeders kind of a break from the mob. All right. Other things that you could possibly use are safflower. Safflower is a tricky seed. It's a hard seed. But this time of year, birds aren't going to be picky. But if you give them sparrows their top favorite seed, it's going to be pretty hard to resist. And they will likely move over there. As far as the shyest bird at our feeders in the winter, it can vary. Birds are a little bit more on alert in winter, partially because the landscape is less, there's less cover, right? So maybe they have to rely on that one evergreen bush in your yard, or you'll see that one shrub that's kind of packed with all the birds in it. There are less cover in general, so birds are looking and flocking in groups, and this is across species. So sometimes you see chickadees with titmice, or chickadees and nuthatches kind of hanging out, and they're hanging out for a couple reasons. One, they're looking more eyes in a group to look for food. Number 2 is more eyes to look for predators. So birds are a little bit more on cautious edge, but we do find that in winter, because they are so needing of nutrition, that this is a great time to actually try to feed the birds by hand. So if you have some high-priced bark butter bits, those little suet balls, or peanuts or tree nuts, try to put a little in your hand and go out there and try to feed the birds by hand, especially if your feeders are empty and you're going out at a time that you normally would fill the feeders. We've had some luck here at the store doing just that. So really try to get try that out. But in general, some birds that are shy this time of year are sometimes the brown creeper. Brown creeper is a little brown bird. He has a really long pointed bill, and he won't typically come to seed feeders. They are technically insectivores, so they're often hopping on trees, up and down the tree, kind of like a nuthatch, but they're brown and about as small as a nuthatch, and they won't come to your feeder. But you can get them to come a little bit closer using spreadable bark butter. So I like to use the spreadable bark butter on my trees. I use it on my deck rails, and the brown creeper will go for that bark butter. And that's a great way to actually entice them to come a little bit closer so you can get a better view of them just by using this new product that maybe you've never tried before. That's a really great question. I do have a write-up on this that I'm going to be posting on our website. I just need a little bit more time. I had a lot going on this week, so I wasn't able to hold my promise to you and put up the hawk one, but I promise I'll put up the hawk one and the sparrow solutions on our website by next Friday. Hold me to it, or everyone that comes on the live is getting a gift from me, all right? I promise I'll get it up there. Okay, and I want to let you know, if you're a Daily Savings Club member and you buy this, you can get a free small winter blend seed cylinder for free. It starts now and it goes through the end of the month, and you can take advantage of it. It's a great offering. This stuff is really, really good if you haven't tried it before, but highest fat on the market when it comes to bird food, so definitely check it out. All right, we talked about some tips for winter feeding. Make sure you get a cover on your weather guards for your feeders, because it's going to protect your seed, protect your investments, keep the birds coming, keep them safe and healthy. Now let's talk about starlings, because so many of you have been talking about starlings the past couple days this week, that I figured it's time to talk about them. Talk about goodbye greedy guests. And yes, it kind of talks about sparrows. We did talk about them a little bit. Valerie, did you order Winter Blend? If you ordered Winter Blend, yeah, definitely put it in there. I'll put your cylinder in there. I don't know if I saw your order come through. I wasn't here yesterday, and I know the people here today packed orders for all the online orders, and they might have not put 2 and 2 together that you're a DSC and things like that, because we just started the promotion this morning. So there will be an email going out tomorrow kind of talking about the promotion, okay? But nonetheless, let's talk about starlings real quick here. There are 3 ways that we deal with starlings or blackbirds. Blackbirds is the kind of like the big group. Sometimes red-winged blackbirds get lumped into blackbirds. Grackles get lumped into blackbirds. Cowbirds get lumped into blackbirds. But when I'm specifically talking about blackbirds today, I'm specifically talking about starlings. So starlings right now, they have a yellow bill, and they kind of are dark, but they have little white spots on them. They kind of have like a purple iridescence to them, purpley green. They are non-native. All the other blackbirds I talked about, the brown-headed cowbird, the red-winged blackbird, and the grackle, are all native to our area. So they are supposed to be here. European starlings are not. So, and they all have a great benefit to our ecosystem, but they can be greedy, and they can kind of be a bully, and they can kind of be not fun at feeders if we get the whole gang to come by. So that is why we're going to talk about how to either exclude them or how to severely slow them down. Okay, let's talk about those 3 ways that we can do that. Number 1 is exclude them. And what I mean by exclude them is physically put your feeder in something that physically does not allow them to get at that food. So this is an example of one of our cage feeders. The cage itself goes around feeders. So I just showed you that feeder over on our seed cylinder wall. This is a specific one for seed cylinder feeders. Okay, I have ones for tube feeders. I have ones for suet. So we have a whole variety of cages, and how this works is it has a smaller hole and only allows small birds to go inside. So everyone else can get to it. Even your woodpeckers can cling, and they have a long tongue and they can eat the food. But starlings really can't access it, so they have a hard time and they tend to move along. So it's very effective. What I don't love so much about this method, or how I like to use this method best, is use it with other methods that I'm going to tell you about. The reason is because if you're just caging the existing feeders you have alone, you are going to exclude some types of birds. For example, cardinals. And I know none of you want to exclude your cardinals. So we can definitely use this as one option, but let's talk about some other options that we can also use in combination with, okay? Number 2 is change the food to something less appealing. Now let's talk about some really good options. Safflower is one of the number 1 things when you come in and talk about starling problems, is what I'm going to grab first, because safflower is super, super effective. How it works is safflower itself is a very small little seed, and the shell is super, super hard. So it's very tricky for starlings particularly, because their bill is not designed to crack open small little hard shells. They are looking for soft, tasty foods like seed out of the shell, like no mess, peanuts out of the shell, fun suets with all sorts of fun peanuts and fun ingredients in it. That's really what they're looking for. So safflower, whether it be loose in the bag, loose safflower that you put in seed feeders like this, or compacted safflower like cakes such as these or the larger bricks, or cylinders, are really their worst nightmare. And let me tell you, when we put them in a compacted version of safflower, like the cylinders or the seed cakes, it is literally their worst nightmare. And the reason is because it's even harder for them to work out those individual little seeds and then have to crack the shells, and they don't even have a mouth designed to eat that. So it's really a really great option. But I can understand if you want to be able to offer that beautiful winter blend cylinder and be able to offer that but not have the whole flock eat it. This is where having 2 cylinder feeders works out great, because you could put this one out in the open in a regular cylinder feeder, and then put your winter blend in a feeder like this, caged, so that they can't access it. Put your no mess in there so that they can't access it. Your nutty for nuts, put that in there so no one can access it. The starlings can't access it. But put your safflower out where everyone can access it, but they're not going to. Fun thing about safflower is it's a top favorite. Everyone will eat it, especially your cardinals. They love, love, love safflower. But a lot of other birds enjoy safflower too. So don't feel like you're going to miss out on anything. You're still going to attract everyone. But if you were asking me what's better, safflower or winter blend, and winter blend's going to take the cake. But I get it. If you have starlings, it can be hard task to get rid of them. That's why safflower's here, and that's why we have lots of options to battle these starlings. All right, another good food to use to switch to when you get starlings is Simply Suet. Simply Suet is just rendered beef tallow. So there's no fun ingredient. So I know you know probably naturally nuts or nuts and berries or woodpecker blend, or some of our super suets are really good. Lots of mealworms and tree nuts and fruit in there. And yes, those suets are great. They're wonderful. Lots and lots of birds enjoy them. But the problem with them is that, yes, starlings are going to love them equally as well. This is where Simply Suet comes into play, because Simply Suet is not loved by starlings because they're going for suet for the fun ingredients inside the suet. All right, so if you, again, we can do a combination of things. All right, we can put our nice super suet or naturally nut in a feeder that's caged that houses the suet, but put Simply Suet in your regular tail prop feeder or that regular suet cage that you put out normally. Everyone that eats suet normally, like your woodpeckers, your chickadees and nuthatches, will eat Simply Suet. Okay? They may not like it as much as naturally nuts, because who wouldn't, right? It's just like eating broccoli. Or do you want broccoli with the cheese and the bacon bits on it? Which one do you want, right? They're going to want the broccoli with all the ingredients on it. But they will still eat broccoli, all right? That's how this is the relation, okay? So it works really well at deterring the starlings. It's still really good for your backyard birds, but of course not as enticing as some of the other suets that have a lot of fun ingredients in it, okay? Another way that you can offer food is peanuts in the shell. So starlings aren't great at shucking those shells. So if you offer peanuts in the shell versus peanuts out of the shell, that's going to definitely not being as appealing to your starlings. The last and third way that we deal with starlings here is to slow them down. Now we have a couple different feeders that help us do this task, okay? Sometimes it's not going to be foolproof. Sometimes these feeders are going to allow one to eat, but not the whole flock. Now that also is effective because starlings love to eat with their friends and family. So if we are only allowing one to eat, they are not going to be as happy and you're not going to be as overloaded as if you had a feeder that is accessible by many of them. All right, so for example, upside down suet feeder. So this one works where you put the suet in here and it's only accessible from the bottom. So this is something that can work. I have some tips and tricks if you really want to use the upside down suet feeder. Definitely come in or call us and I can give you some recommendations on how to help your other birds find the food. Remember, all of our songbirds find their food by sight. So it's kind of tricky for them. They don't know that food is in here for them to find it. But don't worry, we have some tricks on that. But yeah, very hard for starlings. They don't have the grip power to hold their weight upside down. Sometimes you get one that's really clever and will sit on the edge here and be able to eat on the bottom, or one of them will be able to hold its weight for a short amount of time. But for the most part, the whole crowd is not going to be able to eat off of this feeder. All right, that's one. Number two could be clinger only feeders. So sometimes that's the mesh feeders. All right, so we're only allowing birds that can cling to eat from it. So that's another option. Now flying bistro is another one. So remember I showed you it in the box. So here it is in person. This is a great feeder because yes, you can put the seed cylinders on it. It has a tray so you can put loose seed on it. But what's really effective about this feeder and kind of cool is that you can adjust this dome. There is a little screw top here that kind of can fall down and you can lower it to about here. So yes, it's not, starlings can get in here, but they're not going to be able to all flock under there, and they're not going to be able to all fit. So it's going to be kind of deterrent. Now, of course, if you put a safflower cylinder in here or put safflower loose in here, it's going to be their worst nightmare because they can't eat with their friends and family, and the family doesn't even want to eat that kind of food. So it's a really great option to utilize in your yard. And then an option that I really like to use for many things is a weight-sensitive squirrel-proof feeder. Okay, so this one is our eliminator. We have a couple other ones that you can set the weight on. Those are our Brome Squirrel Buster feeders. And they come in, we have one for Finch, we have one for Suet, we have one for Peanuts, and we have a smaller seed feeder just to put up a couple different price points for everyone and capacity size. But this one obviously works because it's weight sensitive. So it's already preset when you get it to be effective against all of our squirrels. But in here, you're able to adjust the tension. So how I've done it is with trial and error, because there's no line that says this right here, turn to here, and it will eliminate the blackbirds from eating. It's going to be a little bit of a turn a little bit and watch, and turn a little bit and watch. But I have mine set so that only one starling can come and eat from this feeder. When two come and eat from this feeder, the ports close and no one gets access. So I am putting my high-priced blends in here. My Nomas, my Cardinal Confetti, Winter Blend. That is what I'm putting in my eliminator because one, I don't have to worry about the squirrels devouring it all. And two, even though it's a high-priced food, only certain birds can eat from it. And even if a starling gets on it, only one of them, not the whole fam, can eat. Okay, so I'm limiting the amount of birds that can dine at this feeder. So that's another great way. All right? And don't forget, we are here for you. So if you have more questions, that's okay. Let us know. Either write it in the comments here. I'm happy to answer you. Otherwise, if you want to come in. Call us at the store. We are here for you, and we understand that not every yard is the same. And what will work in one yard is not going to work in every yard. So let's talk about your yard. Let's figure out some solutions and get the problems solved so that you can better enjoy the birds that you want to see at your feeders. All right? Don't forget, DSC promo started today. If you buy the Winter Blend bag, you get the free small Winter Blend cylinder. And that's while supplies last through the end of the month. So take advantage of it, all right? It's a great blend to use this time of year. It's high in fat, 42%. That's amazing, right? But it's a great way to help your birds out during this cold. They need it. And I know how much you love your birds, and their presence is like the gift for me. And the one thing I know I can do to help them and give something back in return is to keep their feeders full, especially in winter when they need it the most. All right? You guys have a wonderful Friday. Hope we see you this weekend. If you have any questions, again, leave them in the comments. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about, leave it in the comments. I'm still writing down a list of all sorts of things, and while planning some great things coming up this year for other topics. So still building that amazing list. So love to have your comments and your thoughts on what other topics we can talk about. But again, I will have, promise, I will have the Hawks solutions and Sparrow solutions out by next Friday. Otherwise, you can hold it to me, and I owe everyone that's on the live a free gift. So definitely join us next Friday to find out if I got that task done, or keep checking out on our website, Facebook for more information. The Starling Solutions is already on our website. So this, what I talked about tonight, is exactly from our website. So I just kind of printed it off to guide me through what we're talking about here tonight, but you can find it all on our website as well. All right, guys, I hope you have a great evening, a great Friday, and a great weekend. And we'll see you next time around 5:30-ish for the next Friday Live next weekend. Bye now.